Story 1. The Silent Nightmare. Before Christmas. It was a small town nestled in the heart of a dense forest, where winter's icy grip tightened its hold on everything it touched. The streets were adorned with twinkling lights, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of pine and cinnamon. Christmas was approaching, and the townsfolk were busy preparing for the joyous occasion. In the outskirts of town, there stood an old mansion, its grandeur faded with time. It was rumored to be haunted, a relic of a dark past that the locals rarely spoke of. The mansion had been abandoned for years, but as Christmas drew near, strange occurrences began to unfold. One cold December evening, a family new to the town, the Petersons, decided to purchase the mansion, drawn to its historic charm. Despite the whispers of the locals, they dismissed the ghost stories as mere superstitions. The family consisted of Mark and Lisa, along with their two children, Emily and Jacob. As the Petersons settled into their new home, they were captivated by the enchanting beauty of the mansion. The grand staircase creaked underfoot, and the rooms echoed with the whispers of forgotten memories. The family decorated the house with festive ornaments, trying to bring warmth to its cold, desolate halls. On Christmas Eve, a heavy snowfall blanketed the town, isolating the mansion from the rest of the world. The family gathered around the fireplace, exchanging stories and laughter. However, as the clock struck midnight, the festive atmosphere took a chilling turn. Strange noises echoed through the mansion, whispers that seemed to be carried by the frigid wind outside. Mark and Lisa exchanged uneasy glances, but they dismissed it as the old house settling. The children, too, engrossed in their excitement, paid little attention. The following nights brought even more unsettling events. Ornaments mysteriously shattered, and shadows danced in the corners of the rooms. The family's once joyful Christmas spirit gave way to a growing unease. On one particularly cold night, Lisa awoke to the sound of soft footsteps outside her bedroom door. Assuming it was one of the children, she opened the door to find an empty hallway. The air was icy, and the silence was broken only by the distant howling of the wind. As Lisa descended the grand staircase, the temperature dropped and her breath formed frosty clouds. The Christmas tree lights flickered ominously, casting eerie shadows on the walls. Lisa felt a presence behind her, but when she turned, there was nothing there. Desperate for answers, the Petersons researched the mansion's history. They discovered a dark secret. Decades ago, a family had vanished without a trace on Christmas Eve. Rumors suggested that their spirits haunted the mansion, forever trapped in a silent nightmare. The family decided to perform a Christmas Eve seance, hoping to communicate with the restless spirits. As they gathered in the dimly lit living room, the air grew heavy with anticipation. The flickering candlelight cast dancing shadows on the walls, and the temperature plummeted. Suddenly, a cold wind swept through the room, extinguishing the candles. The atmosphere became suffocating, and the family felt an otherworldly presence surround them. Whispers filled the air, recounting the tragic tale of the family that had disappeared all those years ago. In the darkness, the Petersons saw fleeting glimpses of ghostly figures. The room echoed with sorrowful cries, and the temperature continued to drop. Terrified, the family begged for mercy, vowing to honor the lost souls and free them from their eternal torment. As the clock struck midnight, a blinding light enveloped the room. The temperature gradually rose and the whispers faded away. The mansion seemed to exhale a sigh of relief, and the once haunting atmosphere lifted. The Petersons, shaken but alive, realized that they had appeased the spirits. The mansion, once a silent nightmare, now embraced the warmth of Christmas. The family, grateful for the resolution, spent the remainder of the holiday season in peace. As winter loosened its grip on the town, the Petersons moved forward, leaving behind the haunted mansion and the ghostly echoes of the past. The small town, forever touched by the events of that fateful Christmas, continued to share the tale of the silent nightmare before Christmas, a cautionary reminder of the thin veil between the joyous festivities and the lingering shadows of the unknown. Story 2. The cursed Christmas ornaments in the quaint village of Evergreen Hollow, where the snow-covered landscape sparkled like diamonds under the winter moon, there existed an ancient Christmas tradition that had been passed down through generations. Every year, the townsfolk gathered at the Hollywood Antiques store to purchase one-of-a-kind Christmas ornaments, each with a mysterious history. The proprietor of the story, Mr. Harrington, was an enigmatic figure known for his peculiar appearance and an unnerving ability to tell the story behind each ornament. The villagers believed that the ornaments held a supernatural power, but it was a secret whispered only in hushed tones. The Thompson family, newcomers to Evergreen Hollow, were eager to embrace the village's traditions. James, Sarah, and their 2 children, Emma and Caleb, were enchanted by the magical aura that surrounded the Hollywood Antiques store. Intrigued, they decided to purchase a set of vintage ornaments that supposedly brought good luck and joy to any home. As the Thompsons adorned their Christmas tree with the ornaments, the atmosphere in their cozy cottage transformed. The air shimmered with an otherworldly glow, and the family felt an inexplicable warmth. Little did they know that the ornaments harbored a dark secret that would soon unfold. On Christmas Eve, as the family gathered by the fireplace to exchange gifts, a strange energy filled the room. The ornaments on the tree seemed to come alive, emitting an eerie, pulsating light. The family exchanged uneasy glances, but the children dismissed it as their imagination playing tricks. As the clock struck midnight, the room plunged into darkness. A cold draft swept through the house, extinguishing the fire. The once cheerful ambiance gave way to a stifling silence. The Thompsons, now apprehensive, felt an unsettling presence in the room. The vintage ornaments began to emit a faint, haunting melody. The family watched in horror as the ornaments vibrated, casting eerie shadows on the walls. The air grew thick with an otherworldly force, and a chilling voice whispered through the darkness, recounting tales of misfortune and tragedy that befell those who possessed the cursed ornaments. Desperate to escape the supernatural ordeal, the Thompsons tried to remove the ornaments from the tree, but their efforts were futile. The ornaments clung to the branches as if possessed by an unseen force. The temperature in the room plummeted, and the family shivered in fear. As the ghostly voice continued its lament, the family witnessed ghastly apparitions materializing in the room. Each figure bore the mark of a past tragedy, their eyes hollow and filled with sorrow. The Thompsons realized that the ornaments carried the souls of those who had suffered under the curse. In a panic, the family recited a prayer passed down through the generations, pleading for release from the malevolent force. The room trembled as if caught in a cosmic struggle, and the ornaments finally released their grip on the tree. With a blinding flash of light, the apparitions vanished, and the room returned to normal. The cursed ornaments lay harmless on the floor, their spectral glow extinguished. The Thompsons, shaken and traumatized, quickly removed the ornaments from their home. The following morning, the Hollywood Antiques store in Evergreen Hollow mysteriously disappeared, leaving behind an empty storefront. The village, no longer under the influence of the cursed ornaments, slowly forgot the haunting events of that Christmas Eve. The Thompsons, scarred by the supernatural ordeal, moved away from Evergreen Hollow, carrying with them the chilling memory of the cursed Christmas ornaments. The village, though free from the malevolent force, continued its traditions with a wary eye on the mysterious and enchanting history that lurked in the shadows of the past. Story 3: The Haunting Noel. In the heart of the countryside, where the snow-laden fields stretched as far as the eye could see, there stood an ancient mansion known as Ravenswood Manor. Its time-worn facade held a secret, a tale whispered only in the darkest corners of local folklore. The villagers spoke in hushed tones about the haunting Noel that visited the mansion every Christmas. Ravenswood Manor had been uninhabited for decades, abandoned after a series of mysterious disappearances plagued its history. The legend told of a spectral figure named Noel, a spirit cursed to roam the halls in search of something long lost. The mere mention of Noel sent shivers down the spines of the villagers, but every Christmas, an unsuspecting family would move into the mansion unaware of the malevolent force that awaited them. The year was 1985, and the Miller family, consisting of Richard, Elizabeth, and their 2 children, Thomas and Abigail, were drawn to the charm of Ravenswood Manor. Ignoring the warnings of the locals, the Millers decided to spend their Christmas in the historic mansion, eager to experience the magic of the season within its grandiose walls. As the Millers adorned the mansion with festive decorations, a chill lingered in the air, and the flickering candlelight cast eerie shadows on the walls. Despite the festive atmosphere, the family couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. On Christmas Eve, as the clock struck midnight, a haunting melody echoed through the corridors of Ravenswood Manor. The family gathered by the grand fireplace, their breath visible in the icy air. The temperature dropped, and the flickering lights of the Christmas tree seemed to dance to the rhythm of the ghostly tune. Suddenly, the room fell silent. The fire extinguished, leaving the family in complete darkness. Richard fumbled for a flashlight, his hands trembling. A soft voice echoed through the emptiness, whispering ancient verses that spoke of loss and longing. As the family clung to each other in the darkness, a faint glow emanated from the hallway. The spectral figure of Noel materialized, a wraith-like silhouette draped in tattered robes. The atmosphere thickened with an otherworldly presence as Noel glided towards the family. The Millers, paralyzed with fear, watched as Noel's ethereal hand reached out, pointing towards a dusty, forgotten portrait on the wall. The painting depicted a family, their faces frozen in a haunting expression of despair. Richard, with a sinking feeling in his chest, realized that they were the predecessors who had vanished mysteriously from Ravenswood Manor years ago. In a chilling whisper, Noel revealed the tragic tale of the lost family. The Millers, it seemed, were the key to breaking the curse that bound the spirit to the mansion. They were tasked with uncovering the truth behind the family's disappearance, a truth buried in the manor's dark history. The family spent the rest of the night exploring hidden chambers and dusty archives, piecing together the events that led to the family's demise. As they delved deeper, the spectral presence of Noel guided them, revealing the secrets that had remained buried for generations. With each revelation, the temperature in Ravenswood Manor rose and the oppressive atmosphere lifted. The once haunting melodies turned into a mournful symphony, a requiem for the lost souls. The specter of Noel slowly dissipated, leaving the Millers alone in the now peaceful mansion. As dawn broke on Christmas morning, Ravenswood Manor stood silent, its haunted legacy laid to rest. The Millers, forever changed by the harrowing experience, left the mansion behind, grateful for the chance to bring closure to the spirits that had long sought solace. The village, still guarded by the whispers of Ravenswood Manor, continued its Christmas traditions with a newfound respect for the spectral history that lurked beneath the surface. The legend of Noel, though fading, would forever be etched in the collective memory of those who had witnessed the haunting tale of Christmas at Ravenswood Manor. Story 4. The Frozen Festivities. In the remote town of Wintertide, where the winters were harsh and the snow-covered landscape stretched as far as the eye could see, there was an old mansion with a chilling history. The locals called it Frostvale Manor, and it was said to be cursed by a spirit that emerged only during the coldest nights of winter. The Mason family, consisting of Jonathan, Emily, and their 2 children, Ava and Liam, moved to Wintertide seeking a peaceful escape from city life. Drawn to the charm of Frostvale Manor, they decided to spend their first Christmas in the historic mansion, unaware of the dark secret that loomed over the festively decorated halls. As the Masons settled in, a sense of unease settled over the household. The temperature inside Frostvale Manor seemed to drop significantly, and icy drafts whispered through the corridors. Still, the family dismissed these signs as the quirks of an old house adjusting to the winter chill. On Christmas Eve, a thick blanket of snow enveloped Wintertide, isolating the mansion from the rest of the town. The Masons gathered around the hearth, exchanging gifts and sipping hot cocoa. The tree sparkled with ornaments, and the air was filled with holiday cheer. As the clock struck midnight, a sudden hush fell over the room. The fire dimmed, casting long shadows on the walls. The laughter of the children echoed, but it was soon drowned out by a haunting melody, as if a music box from a bygone era had come to life. The temperature in the room plummeted, and frost began to form on the windows. Panicked, the Masons searched for the source of the ethereal music. Following the haunting tune, they were led to the grand ballroom, a room they had rarely entered. The ballroom was adorned with frozen decorations, ice sculptures that seemed to dance in the pale moonlight filtering through the frost-covered windows. In the center of the room stood a grand piano, untouched by human hands. The haunting melody echoed from its keys, playing a tune that resonated with a sorrowful lament. As the Masons approached the piano, the air grew colder, and their breath formed frosty clouds. Suddenly, the keys began to play on their own, and an unseen force guided their hands to play a melancholic melody. The atmosphere thickened with an otherworldly presence, and the family felt a spectral chill in their bones. A voice, soft as the winter wind, whispered through the icy air. It told the tale of a family who had once lived in Frostvale Manor, their lives cut short by a tragic accident on a freezing Christmas night. The spirit revealed itself as Eleanor, the matriarch of that ill-fated family, cursed to relive the frozen festivities of that night for eternity. The Masons, caught in a spectral grip, were compelled to participate in the reenactment of that fateful Christmas Eve. The frozen decorations came to life, and the ballroom transformed into a ghostly dance floor. The family, now mere puppets in Eleanor's tragic performance, twirled and swayed in an otherworldly waltz. Desperate to break free from the supernatural grasp, the Masons pleaded with Eleanor's spirit. They vowed to honor the memory of her family and find a way to release her from the icy chains that bound her. As the clock struck 3 in the morning, the haunting melody reached its climax. The temperature in Frostvale Manor rose, and the icy decorations began to melt away. Eleanor's spirit faded into the cold mist, leaving the Masons standing in the now warm ballroom. The family, shaken by the ghostly ordeal, found themselves back in the familiar living room. The snowstorm outside had subsided, and the air was filled with a newfound warmth. Frostvale Manor, no longer under the grip of Eleanor's curse, stood silent and serene. The Masons, grateful for their release from the frozen festivities, left the historic mansion behind, carrying with them the haunting memory of that supernatural Christmas Eve. The town of Wintertide, still shrouded in winter's embrace, continued its quiet existence, with Frostvale Manor standing as a silent witness to the chilling tales that lingered within its walls.